no weapons will be allowed on the Capitol grounds.
All right, now I'm sure most of you have already heard about the governor of Virginia declaring a state of emergency and banning firearms at the Capitol or on the Capitol grounds. However, that's not what I want to talk about in this video, but I do want to talk about something that may very well tie into this. Now, I'm sure some of you have heard other YouTubers bring it up, which is one of the reasons I'm concerned. It's been brought up on the American Joe show. I believe Guns and Gadgets vaguely touched on it. But I fear that there may very well be a false flag attack or event in Virginia to be blamed on gun owners, conservatives, gun rights activists, libertarians, people who oppose gun control. And I have a feeling it's going to be done by Antifa. As they've already been spotted in the area, as well as Black Lives Matter, or it's going to be done by an agency or orchestrated by an agency of some type. Now, again, what makes me think this isn't just that other reputable sources have touched on this, but also posts that I have seen in some of these Boogaloo groups or on some of these Boogaloo pages. There's been a lot of posts lately in some of these Boogaloo groups by people who do look like Antifa and do talk like Antifa. Posts promoting communism. Posts spewing leftist talking points. Posts that just spew hate, nothing but complaint, no solution, no reverence for the Constitution, Antifa type rhetoric. And of course, rhetoric advocating, targeting law enforcement, killing law enforcement officers, and not just in scenarios where law enforcement or bad law enforcement officers are violating their oath and coming for people's guns, but going on the offense against law enforcement. And when people comment, saying, hey, not every law enforcement officer is bad, you get responses to those people like this. I mean, just look at this dude's haircut. Is this somebody you really trust in a Boogaloo situation to know what the hell they're doing? Or found the bootlicker. That's all they ever say if you don't blindly hate police and blindly want to target law enforcement, even when they're siding with us. See, that sounds like Antifa shit. Because that makes no sense. It is absolutely counterproductive. So that doesn't make sense to me unless you are Antifa, unless you're someone who doesn't want to win. Unless you're just so short-sighted that you don't even care about the end result. Unless you want to tear down our constitutional form of government or what's left of it and replace it with something else. So anyway, as you saw, there was a woman there talking about her boyfriend having a Boogaloo group or a Patriot group or whatever, and a former Antifa guy joining. Now, that seems fishy. And then you look at this guy here. Or look at who liked his post. This other guy who's in the Boogaloo group. And old Maurice there is in the Boogaloo group, making posts, advocating attacking law enforcement or criticizing anybody who dares say that, hey, we shouldn't just initiate violence against anybody, especially not law enforcement, when a lot of them are on our side. You know, it's funny. I wanted to add that guy talking about dude showing up wearing Rob Zombie shirts and freaking clown paint. Anyone with any real world experience knows that's a load of crap, unless you are just some kind of Satanist or communist or Antifa type person who has no legitimate movement, no legitimate principles. I mean, and what he was referencing was the guy there commented about how he, in one of his Facebook profile pictures, which he conveniently decided to make private now, he was wearing a shirt reciting a line from a Rob Zombie movie saying that he was the devil and he was here to do the devil's work. Well, last I checked, that ain't good news. That's not what most patriots want. The devil's work is usually what big government does, not patriots who just want to be free and be left alone. And when the Boogaloo mentality is around these memes here, I completely get it and understand, and I'm with it. And between the article that I showed you at the beginning of the video, where the Antifa spokesperson was saying they're not going to say what their plans quite are about getting more combative, them being spotted in the area, their history, and these other posts, something is definitely up. You cannot, anyone who knows anything about Antifa knows they cannot be trusted. These people are not your friends. Don't let anybody drag you or encourage you into doing anything stupid. If somebody looks like Antifa, they probably are Antifa. It doesn't matter how they're dressed now and how they're talking now. If they look like Antifa, they got the soy face, the little Starbucks beard going on, the little Antifa glasses, wearing Joker paint on their face. If they are freaking doing stuff like that, they're probably Antifa. Anyone who's a veteran knows that these dudes wearing fucking Joker paint on their face aren't about anything productive. They're either all talk or they're just miserable losers who have no plan for success. All they want to do is burn everything down because their life sucks. Most of us who actually have something in life worth living for do not want the Boogaloo to happen, but we are prepared to if necessary. Those of us who actually have God in our lives, have children, have a loving wife, a decent way of life, a decent job, we don't want to just throw that all away for nothing. So if someone is trying to incite violence unnecessarily, even if these gun control laws are not passed or enforced, they more than likely fall into one of four categories. Either one, they're Antifa and they're trying to stage a false flag attack to blame on gun owners, or they're trying to hijack the movement or hijack the cause, or two, they're an informant for the government or an agent provocateur, or three, there's some miserable person, or as you've seen in some of the other posts here, who have nothing to live for, and they're dissatisfied with their life, and they want to take out their emotions of dissatisfaction and anger and unhappiness with their own life on other people, and they want others to help them do it. Or four, they're just some young punk on the internet who doesn't know anything, who does not know what they're talking about. They have no military experience, no law enforcement experience, no real world experience. They most likely still live in mommy's basement. And they regurgitate crap they've heard on the internet and think it sounds cool. But those are the people who will be the first to roll over on you or do something stupid and get you killed, because once they realize it's not like a video game, once they are cold and hungry and starving and in pain or in fear, they'll be the first ones to roll over on you to get out of that situation. You can't trust people like that. And people seem to forget that our founding fathers didn't agree on everything. They had their own disagreements. People seem to forget that there were several years of grievances that led up to the revolution. It didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen over one or two issues before it finally got to the point where they said, we can't take this anymore. And even then, there were lines that, there were things they would tolerate until it got to a certain point. There were lines that they weren't willing to have crossed. And this is it for us, what's left of the Second Amendment, the meat and potatoes of it. Because we still have most of it. People seem to forget that before George Washington became a great United States Continental Army general and commander, he was a militiaman who served the British Crown, who fought for the British Crown during the French and Indian War. He gained experience in the real world. Kind of like how law enforcement officers serve under local and state and federal governments, and they try to handle things the right way. George Washington was willing to side with the American colonists against the British government once certain lines got crossed. And there's a lot in law enforcement who are the same way. Remember what Captain Parker said of the militia leading up to the shot heard around the world. Regardless, be smart about it. Be safe. And don't let anybody drag you into doing something stupid. Whether it be an Antifa member who's dressed up as one of us, whether it be someone else trying to provoke you into doing something stupid, don't do it. Don't fall for it. If you see somebody that you think fits into one of those categories and you think they're about to do something stupid, immediately point them out to those around you. Try to get them on camera. And be prepared to stop them if necessary. And don't be afraid to point them out to law enforcement. If there's some kind of Antifa plant and they're trying to commit violence and have it blamed on us, we don't need that. There's nothing wrong with pointing them out. Anyway, be smart and be careful, guys. Look, I'm not saying to just lay around and do nothing until that line is crossed that requires us to physically defend our rights. However, what I am saying is, don't go initiating unnecessary violence just because you're unhappy with the state of things. And don't fall for other people trying to provoke you into doing that, especially when those people may very well have ulterior motives. Don't let them drag you down. There's things you can do now to help peacefully defend what rights we have left. Something as simple as donating $20 to the Virginia Citizens Defense League, as I have so far, and I plan on donating more, would help a lot. Just imagine if all these people posting and talking shit in the Boogaloo groups donated only $20. That would generate thousands of dollars for the VCDL and would help greatly. There's other things you can do. You can send magazines to people in Virginia to help them have what they need to defy these unconstitutional bans. You can send food and water and gas funds to people who are going if you can't make it. There's other things that you can do to help defend liberty. And if we work really hard, despite how unlikely it is, maybe even regain some rights lost. With that being said, I wanted to add a quick disclaimer to my video. I wasn't being biased by only censoring out some people's names and profile pictures on social media. I had to leave some of them so you could see the type of people I'm talking about who are trying to incite violence, so you could see the kind of person they are, the type of genre they fit in, to back up what I'm saying. Thanks for watching.